you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sunny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked and you went on stage with it and it's nothing.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. But let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology for all the stuff that she's...
While drinking coffee and browsing the regular headlines, the morning the scandal occurred appeared to be just like any other. Then, though, something caught notice. The screen briefly displayed Sunny Hostin's name, but not because of her strong opinions about the scene. No, this time it was about Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, her spouse. And believe me, the headlines weren't flattering at all. And by the way, Manny Hostin looked extremely good. You should look him up. In the middle of a hurricane, where orthopedic physician G.R. Hostin and his practice host orthopedics and sports medicine. The charges? Oh, the charges. Insurance fraud, kickbacks, and, wait for it, being connected to a massive RICO case with 180 defendants. It's a blockbuster, people, not just a case. But before we get into the drama, please hit the like button and subscribe to ensure that you don't miss any of the plot twists in this controversy of Hollywood proportions. So let's dissect this, including the legalese.
With mostly everything that's been said, I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
The Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO Act, was first enacted to combat organized crime. Imagine the genuine shady stuff, like gangsters and mobsters. But here's a storyline twist. The mafia isn't in the hot seat. Physicians, surgeons, and medical procedures are involved. These days, the courtroom drama is more akin to Grey's Anatomy, with fraud on the side than Goodfellas. According to the lawsuit, Dr. Hostin and other individuals were involved in a plot to embezzle money from the hospital system. According to reports, they were paid bribes for performing needless surgeries and charging insurance companies for potentially fictitious procedures. Imagine this scenario: patients undergoing surgery, insurance companies covering the costs, and money is exchanged at the hospital like it's a high-stakes game of poker.
I want a citizen that has a policy. I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners. He's got a $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation? How about removing some of the podcasts that disseminate this misinformation?
They have.
And that's...
Listen,
It's juicy at this point. In particular, Dr. Hostin is accused in the case of receiving financial rewards for recommending or carrying out arthroscopic surgeries, which are minimally invasive joint operations. On the surface, these procedures appear to be legal, but the lawsuit alleges that some of them were wholly unneeded. Did these individuals really require surgery on their knees or shoulders? Or are any of those pesky technical details? Does these individuals really require surgery on their knees or shoulders? Or was there someone who was only trying to get paid? Should these accusations prove to be accurate, this could rank among the most egregious betrayals, making scandals in soap operas seem insignificant. What if you trusted your doctor and then found out that you were really a pawn in a money scheme? It is the kind of betrayal that is literally painful.
Always the people that always do the pointing, and it always comes back to them, all right? So when you said this is the largest RICO case ever filed in the state of New York, you guys wrap that around your brain. That's bigger than the mafia case. Like the mafia one was number one. This one takes it over. So he was scamming insurance companies from taxi drivers, Uber drivers, and Lyft drivers. He was performing unnecessary surgeries and then providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for the...
In this instance, however, the plaintiff, American Transit Insurance Company, ATIC, is on the other side. According to the addict, they were cheated out of millions of dollars for unnecessary or non-existent operations. Paying for a steak and receiving tofu is analogous. Let's face it though, insurance firms aren't exactly spotless either. They have allegedly denied claims, underpaid physicians, and exploited every possible way to avoid paying. The key question is if Attic is indeed attempting to uncover a significant healthcare fraud. Or is this merely an attempt to shift the blame to someone else in a desperate attempt to save a firm that is on the verge of going bankrupt?
To a new lawsuit obtained by Page Six, the orthopedic surgeon was one of 200 defendants named in one of the biggest racketeer influence and corrupt organization cases ever filed in New York. Emmanuel was accused of federal insurance fraud and, quote, getting kickbacks by performing surgery and billing a company that insured taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers.
Daniel Thwaites, the attorney for Dr. Hostin, didn't mince words. As a last-ditch effort by a business on the edge of financial disaster, he denounced the action as a pointless attempt by Attic to recover their losses. To his defense, turn the focus to ATIC and portray them as the really bad guys. A traditional courtroom trick. You reverse the accuser when you are being attacked. And I promise you that it's keeping the drama in the courtroom blazing. But wait, there's more. Let us introduce Joe Rogan, the media critic and podcast king. Without holding back, Rogan blasted The View for what he perceived to be their obvious hypocrisy. He brought to everyone's attention how Sunny Hostin used to disparage others while seeming to be flawless, probably knowing about her husband's dubious activities. And it's not just that. Rogan went all out, scolding the show for being, well, just plain dumb. He joked that you could still have trouble reaching triple digits if you average out the IQs of The View hosts.
Saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
yeah.
it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
Even though it was harsh, his admirers were enjoying it. His wife Sunny has been oddly silent as Dr. Hostin battles for his name in court. Sunny is typically the one on The View who takes on controversy head-on. However, nothing comes close to her husband's scandal. What's the reason behind the silence? Perhaps she is waiting for her lawyers to advise her on what to say, or she is attempting to put some distance between them. Sunny Project is at heart, Gracie wrote her lawyer in a letter to Dr. Hostin. There might be warrant for heeding her lawyer's advisor on what to say. Fans are giddy, with some believing she's defending her reputation and others speculating that she's keeping quiet to avoid being the next victim. In any case, her quiet is saying a lot. The worst part is that this goes beyond Dr. Hostin. Among the 180 defendants cited in this case are hospitals, medical practices, and other physicians. If the accusations are true, this would rank among the biggest incidents of medical fraud in recent history. Millions are being harmed by a whole network of corruption that takes advantage of weaknesses in the healthcare system. In this case, the crooks are stealing insurance premiums rather than banks, which is similar to a heist movie.
Has been accused of committing federal insurance fraud in a lawsuit. Okay, now let's read this. Rob, is this a video?
Well, I have this. I'll show you this about.
Let me just read this and I'll come to you. So, Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney Daniel Thwaites denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread.
Money seems to take precedence above patient care, which begs the larger question of how much trust we actually have in the healthcare system. When medical professionals and insurance corporations prioritize profits over individuals, confidence is undermined. Instead of feeling as though they are entering a financial trap, patients should feel secure when visiting their doctor. Remember, Attic is just stoking the flames if they are using this lawsuit as a smokescreen to hide its own financial mess. The entire thing is a complex web that will be difficult to unravel. To date, Dr. Hostin has not been convicted. The legal battle is expected to be a show, even though these are only accusations. Both sides are getting ready to attack each other with everything they have. We can only observe and attempt to distinguish reality from fiction for the time being. This case is already harshly highlighting the unsettling realities of the insurance and healthcare sectors, regardless of Dr. Hostin's guilt or innocence. Hold on tight, for this scandal is far from done. With each new development, we'll be here, munching on popcorn, watching it all play out like the inevitable courtroom drama. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a beat. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.